Good morning, everyone. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Calling the roll. Calling the roll for the Monday, October 23rd, 2023 Board of Control meeting. It is 11:02 a.m. We have James Boyle serving as an alternate for Meredith Turner.
Present.
Councilmember Dale Miller.
Present.
Trevor Meckler serving as an alternate for Purnell Jones Jr.
Here.
Melanie Say serving as an alternate for Mike Dever. Catherine Gallagher serving as an alternate for Chris Ronay, County Executive.
Here.
Michael Chambers, Interim Fiscal Officer, serving as Chairman.
Here.
Paul Porter.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Next on our agenda is the review and approval of the minutes from October 16th. I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Melanie Say. All in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. Any public comment?
No public comment.
Let's move on to our first item.
First item, BC 2023-651, Department of Public Works submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to APG Office Furnishings in the amount not to exceed $9,416.69 for a joint cooperative purchase of various office furniture to be delivered and installed at the Harbor Garage for the Sanitary Engineering Division, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, everyone. Tom Pavich, Department of Public Works. This is a purchase order with APG. This is to outfit a conference room into an office. This is for the sewer maintenance superintendent. It's a build-out. This is being procured off of a joint cooperative with Omnia Partners. Those are previously bid and or negotiated. And just to note, this is an entire office furniture that will be consistent with everything else that was part of the original build-out at the Harvard office. So everything will be identical to what's already out there.
Thank you, Tom. Are there any questions from the board? Mr. Macular, please.
Morning, Tom. What kind of furniture are we buying? Are we buying desks, chairs?
So it's an entire office. So there's 3 chairs. There's a desk chair and 2 guest chairs. There's the tack board, just as everyone has at their cubicles and offices. And then the largest portion is the actual L-shaped desk. About 6,100 is the L-shaped desk with the overhead bins. The wardrobe closet that's in every office that runs about 1,700. So it's a standard office build out.
Are there any additional questions? Seeing none, I will make the motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. McAleer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved.
Thank you.
Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-652, Department of Information Technology submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in award recommendation to SHI International Corporation in the amount not to exceed $154,950.72 for the joint cooperative purchase of various hardware security modules, licenses, and maintenance services for countywide encryption and disaster recovery continuity for the period November 1st, 2023 through October 31st, 2024, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Matt Ruby, Department of IT. As just stated, this is a joint cooperative purchase through Omnia Partners for hardware security modules. This is going to enhance the IT security team's capabilities around encryption. So this equipment holds encryption keys for a variety of the apps and systems that we use across the county.
Okay, Matt, thank you. Are there any questions from the board?
Yes, is this a new contract?
This is an enhancement, so this is new equipment that we're getting, yes.
Any additional questions? Mr. Boyle?
So walk me through the exemption. Maybe
Sure.
I'm missing.
So this is an exemption for joint cooperative purchase. That's allowable under the Ohio Administrative Code and County Code.
Got it. I don't
Okay.
know why I didn't see that when it's.
No problem. Thanks.
Any additional questions? Seeing none, I will make the motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-653, Department of Information Technology, on behalf of the Fiscal Office, submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to Integrated Precision Systems Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $21,360 for a state contract purchase of 12,000 feet of access control composite replacement cabling to be installed by county trades at the Old Brooklyn Neighborhood Family Service Center, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Matt Ruby, Department of IT. So this is, as stated, this is a purchase being made on behalf of the fiscal office, specifically the appraisal division, with the appraisal staff being moved out to the Old Brooklyn facility. It was deemed by IT that they need to upgrade the security system to give access to all of the contractors that are going to be working out there, as the existing system in place is no longer supported by the manufacturer.
Thank you, Matt. Are there questions from the board? Seeing no questions, I will make the motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Boyle. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-654, Department of Information Technology, on behalf of the Department of Public Works, submitting an RFP exemption which will result in an award recommendation to Integrated Precision Systems Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $13,679.10 for a state contract purchase and installation of 15 uninterruptible power supply, batteries, and units for security system upgrades at the Juvenile Justice Center and Court Tower, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Matt Ruby, Department of IT. This is a purchase that is supplementing a Public Works capital project out of the Juvenile Justice Center. So the uninterruptible power supplies are on an auxiliary power source for the security system out there in the event that the main grid goes down.
Thank you, Matt. Are there any questions from the board? Mr. Boyle.
So is it like a generator? What is the uninterruptible power supply? What, I mean, battery operated?
I believe it's a battery
backup.
Yeah, a battery backup. Yeah.
For the generator to keep. I'll take your word.
Any additional questions on this item? Seeing none, I will make the motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Porter. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-655, Department of Information Technology, submitting an RFP exemption which will result in an award recommendation to Dell Marketing LP and the amount not to exceed $122,692 for a state contract purchase of 100 Microsoft Windows 365 Cloud PC subscriptions for the period October 28, 2023 through June 27, 2024, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Matt Ruby, Department of IT. So these cloud PC subscriptions are going to allow the Department of IT to continue exploring operational efficiencies based in terms of transitioning from having to manage our equipment, our laptops and such locally, in that like hands-on, in-person, having to install and maintain to a cloud-based method of doing so.
Okay, Matt, thank you again. Questions from the board? Mr. Mackler, please.
So Matt, these are licensed for IT staff to be able to work on all the county employees' computers remotely, is that? I mean, I just a little.
Yeah,
clarification on what-
my understanding, and I do have Jeremy Mio with me in case, the subscriptions are not specifically assigned to IT staff, but they're assigned to, they're more like placeholders. So they can be assigned to different county employees, but the access allows the IT staff to go in and like remote in virtually to a laptop or a desktop, whatever it is that we're talking about here, to be able to manipulate and do the things that we have to do, but virtually instead of having to have hands on the equipment.
So this isn't something that every employee, like the 365 license that we have, would need. It's only on a case-by-case basis?
Correct. At this point in time, this is called a pilot, if you would like, but it is something that we are testing, like I said, for operational purposes.
And do we have any current license of this kind, the cloud PC subscriptions right now?
We do. I don't know the exact count, but I can get that for you.
Thanks, Matt.
Are there any additional questions? Mr. Boyle?
No.
No? Okay, seeing no more questions on the item, I will make the motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Boyle. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-656, Department of Internal Audit, submitting an RFP exemption which will result in an award recommendation to Carasoft Technology Corporation and the amount not to exceed $28,284.15 for a joint cooperative purchase of 6 audit management software user licenses, software upgrades, support, and maintenance from Teammate to Teammate Plus FedRAMP for the period October 17, 2023 through May 6, 2024, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Joshua Alt, Internal Audit. Yeah, this is just to upgrade our audit management software, as the current version, we're being told, will be sunsetting in the near future. So it includes the upgrade in the software itself, data migration for the last 10 years of our files into the new system, as well as implementation and training.
Thank you, Josh. Is there any questions from the board? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Paul Porter. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-657, Court of Common Pleas, Juvenile Court Division, submitting an amendment to a contract with Prison Yoga Project, Ohio, for yoga and meditation services for detention center youth for the period March 14, 2022 through June 30th, 2023, to extend the time period to June 30th, 2024, to change the terms effective July 1st, 2023, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $15,000.
Good morning. Sharon Allen, Juvenile Court. I'm here to present the Prison Yoga Project Amendment for yoga and meditation services. This is 100% funded through Reclaim. And to extend the time period to 6/30/24, and the changes is not to exceed from $15,000 to $30,000.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. Are there any questions from the board?
You know, just as a comment. So I was, I was on a tour of the juvenile justice facility last week with one of the counties. They mentioned this program, and I, seemed a little skeptical at first, but it's a very interesting program, and I think it has the potential for important results for the staff or for the youth that are there. So,
Okay. Seeing no further questions or comments, I will make a motion to approve the item. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Boyle. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-658, Court of Common Pleas, Juvenile Court Division, recommending an award on RQ 12469 and submitting a contract with Monfort Dent Consulting and Psychological Services, LLC, and the amount not to exceed $15,000 for sex offender assessment and treatment services for court-referred youth project for the period July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2025.
Sharon Allen, Juvenile Court again. This is a award recommendation. This is for sex offender assessment and treatment services. This program is also funded through Reclaim.
Okay, thank you again. Are there any questions from the board? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item's approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-659, Sheriff's Department recommending award and submitting a purchase order to Geauga County Sheriff's Department and the amount not to exceed $125,000 for outsourcing prisoner board and care services to reduce the daily population in the Geauga County Jail, effective Board of Control approval through December 31st, 2023.
Chris Costin, Sheriff's Department. Yeah, we're asking for an amount for Geauga County to extend our prisoner board care out there.
Okay, Chris, are there questions from the board? Mr. Mac, or Councilman Miller first, please.
How many do we have at Geauga County as of this morning?
Mr. Miller, we have 20 today.
And I received a report this morning saying that the jail count for this week was 1,565. Does that include the 20 at Geauga County, or does it not include them?
That does not include those 20.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Mr. Mackler, please.
Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, sir.
Does the $75 rate, does that include medical, or are they transported to our facility or Metro or somewhere else if they need
Transported
medical?
back to us. We have received a few medical billing from them, and we invoice them, and they pay those, but that does include that.
Wait, so 75 is included
Yes.
with the medical?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes.
so it's not separate medical
Correct.
billing.
Correct.
Is 20 a higher amount than we normally have there? That seems higher than prior kind of.
On
reports.
average, we do between 18 and 24, so that's about on the average.
Is there specific reasons why we send them out here? Is it more just population? Is it more safety concerns?
It's population. The ones we send out there are nonviolent, sentenced generally, and we need to make room for more violent offenders within the main jail.
Another question.
Please.
Yes, sir.
How many people do we have in other jails other than the Geauga County?
Mr. Miller, right now we have 0 in other facilities other than Twin Valley and North Coast.
No. North Coast is not really a jail, is that?
No, it's a mental health facility.
And Twin Valley
It's the same.
is
Correct.
the same. So, okay, so right now Geauga County is the only actual jail where we have other prisoners.
That is correct, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Any final questions? Mr. Boyle?
You said that these are they mainly inmates that have been sentenced by common pleas?
Yes, they are, Mr. Boyle.
All right, and so I would assume for sentences lesser, obviously, up to 6 months, I would
That
say.
is correct.
And I get, does the judges make a determination where they go? I mean, why aren't they going to the
No,
McDonald, the CBCF?
We make them based on our classification, our ability to house them, and based on state standards that, through the State Bureau of Adult
But these are
Detention.
low-level,
Yes, they are.
okay. Is the CBCF involved in this conversation, or is that a judicial decision?
That's a judicial decision. Thank you.
Any final questions? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Mr. McAleer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-660, Sheriff's Department submitting an RFP exemption which will result in an award recommendation to FDL Marine Incorporated, DBA Edgewater Marina, and the amount not to exceed $9,851.45 for the purchase of fuel for Marine Patrol boat operations in connection with the Operation Stone Garden Grant Program, effective Board of Control approval through December 31st, 2023, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Chris Costin, Sheriff's Department. This is just gonna be a short-term PO with the marina, so that way if our boat needs the fuel, we'll just fuel it up as needed.
Thank you, Chris. Are there any questions from the board? Mr. Boyle, please.
Where is, what does the boat do? I mean, what does the sheriff, do they have jurisdiction on the water?
They do, they're out on the water, especially when we have special events like 4th of July or Labor Day weekend. They have all the boating seatings. This Stone Garden, it actually operates the water. They look for anything going on out there that's not normal.
I mean, I guess, how many boats do we have?
We just have the one.
Chris, was it not a grant that paid for that boat originally, I believe? I'm almost
A
positive.
couple years ago, yes.
Stored at our old Whiskey Island, if I'm not mistaken.
We used to, now it's at Edgewater.
At Edgewater now?
It's at
Okay.
Edgewater.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that, Mike, and you're not wrong. I mean, but at the end of the day, then we have a boat that we have to maintain, and we have to staff, and the fact that you get a free boat helps, but at the end of the day, we still have to operate it, staff it, maintain it, fuel it.
Most of their costs are paid through the Stone Garden grant every year. I mean, there's minimal costs that we have to pay out of general fund. But, yeah.
I mean, it seems like the jail is kind of a button issue that we can focus on, but I guess we need boats. And fuel.
Thank you, Mr. Boyle. Are there any further questions, comments? Seeing none, I will make the motion to approve this item. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Boyle. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-661, Department of Public Safety and Justice Services requesting authority to apply for grant funds from the Ohio Department of Public Safety, Office of Criminal Justice Services, and the amount of $19,225.26 for management of the FY 2023 Stop Violence Against Women Act Administrative Grant Program for the period January 1st, 2024 through March 31st, 2025.
Good morning, Mary Beth Vaughn from Public Safety. And this admin grant reimburses our budget for times two staff members spend working on this grant.
Thank you, Mary Beth. Are there any questions from our board? Seeing no questions, I will make the motion to approve the item. Is there a second? Second by Miss Melanie Say. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-662, Department of Health and Human Services, Office of the Director, submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to the Children's Hospital Medical Center in the amount not to exceed $257,400 for poison control services and support of the Drug and Poison Information Center for the period January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2025, and submitting a contract with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Marcos Cortez with Health and Human Services on behalf of the Office of the Director. Again, this is a contract with the Children's Hospital Medical Center for our Poison Information and Referral Program. The Children's Hospital will provide information only and physician referral services in appropriate cases to all Cuyahoga County citizens, regardless of income or ability to pay, concerning drug and poison-related calls.
Thank you, Marcos. Are there questions from the board? Mr. Mackler, please.
Marcus, do you know how many calls they get on an annual basis?
You know, and you're going to ask that question. I did not get that information, but I will follow up and get it for you. Yeah.
Any additional questions on the item? Seeing none, I will make the motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Mackler. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Next item?
Next item, BC 2023-663, Department of Health and Human Services, Office of the Director, submitting an RFP exemption which will result in an award recommendation to the Center for Community Solutions in the amount not to exceed $300,000 for fiscal agent services for the AIDS Funding Collaborative for the period January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2025, and submitting a contract with said RFP exemption.
Under this contract, Community Solutions will distribute an account for AIDS Funding Collaborative Partner Funds. This is a unique public-private partnership that was created to address gaps in services for people living with HIV and AIDS in a collaborative manner. Support of the AIDS Funding Collaborative serves to meet our maintenance of effort requirement of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Ryan White Part A HIV/AIDS Emergency Services Grant.
Okay, Marcos, thank you again. Are there questions from the board?
Yes.
Councilman.
As I'm reading this, the $300,000 is not just for the administrative services. It also includes the money that's being distributed. Is that correct?
That appears to be correct, yes. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm reading the information. That's how it works.
So, we should probably amend the item. The way it reads, it looks like we're paying $300,000 just for administrative services, which I don't think is a message we want to send.
If I could comment, this is how it's been listed in the past. They serve as the fiscal agent, and I think that's the type of terminology we've used for some other things, like the emergency food program, where United Way does get a small administrative component, but the money is used, to fund food programs throughout the county. I'm open to amending it if there's a level of comfort with that, but fiscal agent services covers the disbursement of funds, not just the administrative piece.
So, this has come up a number of times before, and I've been trying to get it amended when it comes up, and with success from time to time. So I just don't think it should just read fiscal agent services when it also includes the money for the services that are being provided.
What would the recommended language be changed to?
For fiscal agent and program services.
For fiscal agent and program services, that's fine.
Would anything need to be changed with the agreements or anything like that? No?
I can't imagine that they would, because I think the agreements cover disbursement of funds. Do you want to comment?
This is Jared Zabertoski from the Law Department. I guess I want to make sure that we're certain that that 300,000 is not just for the administrative services. Can somebody confirm that for me? Like,
I will have
for
them
sure
confirm
that's
it.
more than, there's also operational or programmatic support included in that money?
I believe so. Again, I
believe
would
it
have to
is,
verify
too.
that. So, I mean, we're ahead of the game on these. I think these don't start till January 1st, so we can, if we need to hold it a week, we can.
Okay, why don't we,
Move on to the next item, and I'll verify that while we're in here.
Oh, there you go.
all right, well,
Okay?
I'm fine with that. Either that or we can hold it for next week. But if you want to try and
I'll verify
clarify it,
while we're here.
all right, let's push to the next item temporarily.
Mr. Chair, can I just ask a question?
Yeah,
While
please.
Paul's looking- Paul, can you just, out of the 300,000, how much is going towards administrative
Yep,
services?
if
or
that's
fiscal
in
agent
here,
services?
I'll look that up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item, BC 2023-664, Department of Health and Human Services, Office of the Director, submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to the Cleveland Hearing and Speech Center in the amount not to exceed $208,000 for Audiology Patient Assistance Program Services for the period January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2025, and submitting a contract with said RFP exemption.
Marcos Cortez again with Health and Human Services. Again, this is a contract with the Cleveland Hearing and Speech Center for hearing aid and assisted listening device fitting and diagnostic hearing evaluation. Cleveland Hearing and Speech is the oldest self-standing speech and hearing center in the United States and provides the professional audiology services that accompany hearing and ALD fittings.
Thank you again, Marcos. Questions?
Yes, is this the first time we've given them a 2-year contract as opposed to a 1-year contract, or have we been doing that for some time?
We've been doing 2-year contracts with all of these. These are under our health policy program, so we've been doing 2-year contracts for all of those programs.
Okay, thank you.
Are there additional questions? Seeing none, I will make the motion to approve the item. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller.
Just a
All-
comment that
Please.
I do support the 2-year contracts. My question was only informational. Thank you.
Sure. So we have all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-665, Department of Health and Human Services, CAGA Job and Family Services, submitting an amendment to a contract with Ohio Attorney General, care of Treasurer, State of Ohio, Bureau of Criminal Identification and Investigation for access to the National Web Check Program for criminal background checks for various departments for the period June 1st, 2023 through May 31st, 2026 for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $60,500.
Marcos Cortez again. The Ohio Attorney General's Office, Bureau of Criminal Investigations processes all BCI and FBI fingerprints for the state of Ohio, which is inclusive of Cuyahoga County. Background checks are used for potential new hires of Cuyahoga County by HHS Health and Human Resources. In addition, it is used by our Office of Child Support and also provides background checks for our work experience program participants whose work sites provide web experience, and those require FBI and or BCI checks as well.
Okay, thank you. Questions from the board? Mr. Mackler.
Marcos, I don't know if this is for you or just a question in general, but just why are we using general fund for that when we're hiring HHS employees?
Yeah, I'd have to verify that funding source to make sure that's accurate, but I believe this is the information that we were given by HR when we put it in. And Stephen Wood here? No.
Okay.
Any additional questions?
They may use them for other, do we have a master contract with them? I would
Yeah.
assume we did.
I'll offer a comment on it. The increase is specific to HR funding. It's not HHS funding, and HR uses the contract that HHS established as a master. So when it's HHS related, like foster parents coming in to get fingerprints, those are charged to an HHS account. But when it's HR for staff recruitment, it's charged to the general fund.
Yeah, there are several lines that are separate in the master contract.
And this is just HR specific, not other departments.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Any final questions? Seeing no final questions, I will make the motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Boyle. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-666, Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Children and Family Services, submitting an amendment to a contract with Bluestone Child and Adolescent Psychiatric Hospital for psychiatric hospital services for children for the period June 19, 2023 through June 18, 2024, to change the terms effective upon contract signatures of all parties and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $75,600.
Marcos Cortez again. This is a contract amendment to provide psychiatric assessments for children who are residing at Jayden and Hunter to determine their appropriateness for returning home. This is, I believe, our second amendment to this contract.
Okay, thank you. Questions from the board? Seeing no questions, I will make the motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2023-667, Department of Health and Human Services, Community Initiatives Division, Office of Early Childhood, submitting an amendment to a contract with Case Western Reserve University Center on Urban Poverty and Community Development for implementation, management, and evaluation of Invest in Children programs for the period January 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2023, to extend the time period to June 30th, 2024, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $55,000.
Under this contract, Case University will conduct activities to evaluate components of the county's universal pre-K program along with other Invest in Children programs. Case Center on Urban Poverty and Community Development houses the nationally recognized integrated data system called the CHILD system. The CHILD system was developed over 20 years ago specifically to evaluate Invest in Children programs. Since then, it has become a widely used resource for community program evaluation, and we continue to use it to evaluate the programs for Invest in Children.
Okay, thank you again, Marcos. Are there any questions from the board? Seeing no questions, I will make the motion to approve. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Paul Porter. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Moving on to exemptions. First item, BC 2023-668, Sheriff's Department recommending an alternative procurement process which will result in a purchase order to Cuyahoga Community College and the amount not to exceed $48,000 for Police Academy training for current eligible employees for the period January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024.
Chris Costin, Sheriff's Department. This is an alternative procurement process for 2024 to fund our cadet program. Currently, we have 6 vacancies in our deputies, with 1 retiring at the end of this month. So we'll have 7 total vacancies this month. This just help boost our recruitment.
Okay, Chris, thank you. Are there any questions from the board? Seeing none, I will make the motion to approve the item. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Moving on.
Moving on to consent agenda items, BC 2023-669 through BC 2023-674.
Board members, feel free to take a look at that, but Mr. Porter, I was wondering if we had any action on that last item.
We don't have any action on that. I'm still researching it, so if we can hold that and move it to next week's
Why don't we do
meeting,
that?
we
We'll
can
hold it and get that
forward.
worked out. And if we have to change it, we'll change it. Okay, so we'll get a hold on that particular item. All right. Are there any questions from the board on any of the consent agenda items listed?
Yes, I have one question.
Please.
The question is that I noticed that the executive's trip for the COP28 program is covered by the Gun Foundation, but but for Valerie Katz, it says the executive's office is seeking reimbursement using grant funds. What's the status of that, and why are they different?
Mike Foley, Department of Sustainability. There's an opinion being sought by the State Attorney General's office about whether the Gun Foundation can pay for Valerie's travel as well as Executive Renane's travel. Executive Renane can be paid for by the Gun Foundation because he's actually speaking on a panel at COP28. So there's some differentiation there that we're trying to get some legal analysis to see what they can also pay for Valerie's trip as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any additional questions on today's consent agenda items?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to move approval of the consent agenda.
We have a move and approval. Is there a second? Second by Mr. McAleer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It is approved. Moving on to other business.
No other business?
No other business? Any public comment?
Public comment?
I will make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor of adjourn, say aye. Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you. Thank you, guys.